First, thank you all so very, very much for joining our team and my family on this very special night. It's really incredible to look around this room and to see all of the faces and the experiences that go with those faces. It's just quite remarkable to be standing here, and I have a few things to say, and I will do my level best to get through them. And I hope you enjoy the ride. First, Chairman Norris, I want to start with you. I want to thank you so very much for the wonderful blessing, for the explanation of that fabulous gift that I so appreciate. But I also want to thank you for being such an inspiring example of servant leadership and commitment to social justice. And I will carry that example with me to Texas. And, I think you'll agree with me on this. Could there be a better week to talk about the meaning of servant leadership and social justice than the week the world says farewell to Nelson Mandela? Thank you. Thank you. To my amazing team. Wow. I am so appreciative of your kind words, this memento, and a variety of other mementos that have been presented over the past few weeks, some fortunately presented in private. But even more importantly, I want to thank all of you for the many wonderful memories and valuable lessons you have taught me that I will carry with me to Texas. Thank you very, very much. So now comes story time. And I'd like to start with a quote. Steven Spielberg, the great film director, who, as most of you well know, spent much of his youth here in Phoenix. Spielberg once said, "People have forgotten how to tell a story. Stories don't have a middle or an end anymore. They usually have a beginning that never stops beginning." So tonight, I will endeavor to tell my story. And by the way, it's story time, not story hour. So don't get too concerned here. To tell my story in that spirit and in that manner. And you all will be the judge of whether I succeed. And if I do, if I've lived up to Spielberg's words, that would be great. If not, you may blame my speechwriter, which would be me. So my story, of course, begins from the beginning with the three people who have been with me from day one of my 50 years in Arizona. My wonderful brother Howard, who had a work emergency, missed his flight, so he is here with us in spirit. My other wonderful brother Olin, who is here, and our magnificent mom, Martha. Would you please join me in welcoming them? Mom, thank you. Thank you so very much for everything, for the gift of life, for your unconditional, steadfast love and support over always, through all these years. And thank you for doing such a great, stellar job of raising three successful sons who love you and our late father very, very much. So that brings me forward to the love of my life and my very best friend, Debbie. And I know that there are some among you here tonight who may be inclined to blame her for being the ringleader of our new life adventure. But I would prefer that you credit her for knowing when the time had come to open a new chapter in our life's journey. For me, it is all about the latter. And Deb, I thank you for an amazing journey that will now continue deep in the heart of Texas. This venue is very special for Debbie and me. For in 1980, years before this iconic restaurant opened its doors, the Hermosa Inn hosted our wedding rehearsal dinner. So we have come full circle, 33 and a third years later, with our son and daughter, Thomas and Megan, on Coast Guard and school teaching duty, respectively, here with us in spirit, and having always provided us with a beginning that has never stopped beginning. And that brings me to your presence, all of you. Not just your presence tonight, of course, but your presence in our lives over these many years. As most of you well know, I've had an entire year to think about how best to reflect back on these times and experiences. And I decided to do so through the lens of a motion picture. For I believe all of us have memories of films over the course of our lives that have provided us with beginnings that never stop beginning. For me, Chariots of Fire is such a film. The story of the 1924 British Olympic team, built around two great runners, one English and one Scottish. May I ask, by show of hands, how many of you have seen the film Chariots of Fire? Wow, very good. Overwhelming majority. That's wonderful. Well, for the millennials and the holdouts, I will attempt to inspire you to see the film. For those of you who have seen it, the many of you have seen it, you may recall, and it is this aspect I'd like all of you to focus on, that the English runner came from a privileged background, while the Scottish runner came from a far more modest background. And their life journeys that were joined as members of that Olympic team were otherwise quite reflective of their individual circumstances. Early in the film, the very devout Scottish runner was in a somewhat heated conversation with his even more devout sister concerning whether his running was getting in the way of his devotion. He said to her, "I believe God made me for a purpose, but he also made me fast. And when I run, I feel his pleasure." I believe God made me for a purpose as well, multiple purposes. In fact, just as he made that Scottish runner and each one of you to serve multiple purposes. Tonight, I have fulfilled one of my life's purposes, but through an experience far more reflective of the privileged English runner than his Scottish counterpart. You see, my family legacy includes an early American pioneer who co-founded New Haven, Connecticut, and a great-great-grandfather who co-founded a Fortune 500 corporation that still bears his and our family's name today. No, I was not a Cambridge man, as they like to say, but with the support of my parents, I did receive 2 advanced degrees from world-renowned UCLA. Nor did I meet my brilliant and beautiful bride in the London theater, but I did meet her in the office of the Minority Leader of the United States House of Representatives, John Rhodes of Arizona, who many of you know and knew and revere, in the U.S. Capitol building, a stage where acts have very real consequences. All of that and much more before 1981. And the list of my privileges and my blessings goes on and on and on, including the extraordinary experience of working alongside my fabulous Tri-Advocates teammates over the past 12 years while serving a truly amazing array of great clients, many of whom are here tonight, who contribute so much to the economic and social fabric of Arizona. I am truly grateful for and humbled by these privileges and these blessings. And I thank each of you for all that you have done to make this chapter of my life's journey so completely fulfilling. So now my story moves to Texas, our new home state, or as Debbie, yes, often reminds me, after being so frequently reminded herself, the Republic of Texas. Either way, Texas is blessed with abundant resources. 4 times the population, but 5 times the gross state product of Arizona. often ranked the best place to do business in the country, Texas in general and Austin in particular are booming in comparison to just about any place else. But there is another side to Texas, which has added more people since the year 2000 than Arizona had in the year 2000, and where demographic trends are impacting the future of the state even more quickly and dramatically than is the case here in Arizona. I believe Texas, along with California and New York, are our nation states, ones that would be powerful and influential on a worldwide basis were they separate countries, as of course Texas once was. Here comes your Knox policy wonk moment. By far too many metrics across the range of policy issues that matter to ordinary Texans, Texas fares materially worse than New York and California. The latter, a state hit far worse by the Great Recession, with a state government that at one point was nearly broke. Worse still for a football-crazed state, Texas trails Oklahoma by many of these same measures. For Texas, it is not about resources. It is about choices. And for this new Texan, it is also about choices. That is why God made me to serve a new purpose through a life more reflective of the Scottish runner going forward, to join with the voices of those who seek a better and more just Texas, one where the American dream is not just a soundbite, but an achievable reality for the millions of ordinary Texans who work very hard and make great sacrifices in pursuit of a better life for their children, and one where investment in that generation to come is, once again, a priority, all reflecting the values that made Texas great to begin with. Exactly how and where I will serve, seeking to achieve my leadership calling to drive transformative policy change through the many avenues of social and philanthropic activism, remains to be determined. But that is my next race to run. For as the Scottish runner so simply put it, then where does the power come from to see the race to its end? From within. I ask for your prayers and your support as I embark on this new chapter of my life's journey. A new chapter built on the compassion that you heard the chairman speak to earlier. A new chapter, a new day, a new opportunity to give back, to contribute, and to help the lives of those who have not been nearly as blessed as I. Very excited about this challenge and this change, and I very much appreciate your prayers and your hopes for that future path forward. So I will look forward to seeing all of you again. This is not a goodbye in that sense. It is a departure from Arizona, but I'm sure that we'll be back here from time to time. But I so deeply appreciate everything that Arizona has meant to us. I thank you for everything that all of you have done to make our time in Arizona so very special. May God bless you, and may God bless the great state of Arizona forever in my heart and soul. And Texas, here I come. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.